Hi Aquarius, the Awakened Dreamer here to give you your general monthly tarot reading for the month of August 2021. Bear with me in a new location for filming, and I got a cat roaming around me. So do keep in mind, first of all, thank you so much for joining me, but don't forget to like the video, comment down below about how this resonates with you in your situation, and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And make sure to hit that little notification bell when you do so. But when meditating on your energy overall for the month, the message that came through is taking my sweet time, and I can feel that already as I get through the intro. But we're going to be pulling from the Gilded Tarot Royale deck today. Bear with me as I get myself adjusted. And while I do some shuffling, keep in mind general reading for the month of August for the sign of Aquarius. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't for somebody else. But if you're here to hear about an Aquarius as well, you are more than welcome to join. Alrighty, now let me just do one more shuffle this way. You might find quite comforting, a bit of silence at times recently when normally it would make you uncomfortable. Interesting. Let me just move a little bit closer, bear with me, for our lovely Aquarians for the month of August 2021. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. What else do we have for Aquarius for August? Okay, we're up to 2. What else do we have? Thank you, Spirit. Flew onto the floor. Oh, just a bit of a slow, hot mess. It's okay. Thank you, Spirit. What else do we have for Aquarius? We're halfway there for the second half. Okay. We are up to 4. Let me just move over just slightly. You might feel like you're a bit all over the place, but again, in a slow way, and you're taking your time, and it's just like, well, I'll get there. I'm kind of enjoying it a little bit. Not all the time, but most of the time. All right, we have all of them. Okay. So interestingly enough, we have the High Priestess to begin. It came out in reverse, and Spirit said at first, oh, bear with me, that's a cat hair. Spirit said at first it should stay in reverse, but then had decided to swap it in the upright position. I don't get it why at times do I feel so spiritually connected, and other times I feel it's just leaving my life or just not present. You know, at times you're trying to force certain spiritual occurrences. At times you're feeling light and airy and like you're floating through situations effortlessly, and other times it feels just the complete opposite, like things are difficult, heavy, as if you're not really floating through. You'll feel more so of this kind of light and airy feeling to begin the month of August, but it may just be kind of fluctuating, you know, up and down, heavy and light, heavy and light. But this sort of light feeling for the most part takes over, sort of angelic, which is why you find yourself inclined to take your time, to not rush, to sort of do things at a pace that's comfortable for you, regardless of how people feel around you. It's okay, they'll catch up. Or interesting, so are people around you moving even slower? Or do you find that you're the slow one in the situation? Not important, let's move on. Let's move forward. You finding it hard to not focus on the past. Interesting, because we had the 8 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which I wasn't sure if it was relevant, but there might be a bit of an underlining feeling of you struggling to let go of the past, but eventually you'll get there throughout the month of August. Just at the beginning, you might need to sort of force yourself to bring it back to the present moment and focus on your bright future. Knight of Wands to move right along. I'm hearing go for it, passion. You make your way to the middle of the first half of the month and you're finding yourself with this passion come over you to go after something, to go after something new. It's time for me to change. It's time for me to do something different for myself. But how do I even go about it? There's a potential for you to overthink how you approach whatever situation this is for you, but to sort of go about it in a natural way for yourself, right? If you find yourself overthinking it, simplify it. Allow for yourself to remember that you are a very analytical, a very sort of headstrong sign at times. And so you need to take it step by step and remember that you'll get to the conclusions you need to, but to also not overthink whether or not you're meant to begin a fresh start that you can taste or you're ready to begin. Ooh, I'm hearing a new car, a new home. Some of you finding that purchases are just on the horizon, or you're starting to research all of which, or some of which. Finding that it's time to do it for me, and other people trying to chime in and maybe slow you down even more in the decision process, and you being like, I'm already taking my sweet time, all right? I'm feeling passionate and motivated, so let's just let Aquarius do their thing, all right? Once again, at their own pace, but there's absolutely no need to slow me down even more. Interesting, we were talking before about people needing to catch up with you. Knight of Cups. 2 nights in a row, my friend. All about taking action, doing what's right for you. Again, at an appropriate pace that feels comfortable for Aquarius. You may feel like you're inclined to keep taking action, to keep changing things, but towards the end of the first half of the month, emotions start to resurface. You find that you're feeling a bit more emotional for whatever reason, or you find that the emotions wrapped up in certain decisions and choices leave you feeling a little bit tight in the body or a little bit on edge, right? Or energies and situations you're wrapped up with make you feel a little bit on edge again, stiff, stressed out for one reason or another. I mean, don't come at me like that. You know, you feeling like you're not inclined to overreact, especially in the first half of August, but people being quick to sort of poke you, you know, knowing how to sort of get the best of you at times, and you being like, well, damn, Aquarius, you normally would have reacted in the past, but you didn't. Maybe it's simply because you find that you're moving at a more appropriate pace for yourself, or you're not sort of rushing through things, right? Even mentally, you find yourself sort of slowly thinking through things, maybe at times too much, but it's leaving you not overreacting or reacting in general. You're sort of maturely being like, no, I actually feel this way. But if you could stop trying to, like, you know, get the best of me or try to control how I move forward, or, you know, how these changes come to be or don't come to be. Whether you realize it or not, because I'm not really showing it, my emotions are sort of at an all-time high at this point in the month. Again, towards the end of the first half. You're golden. Keep it moving forward. You might find towards the end, the very, very end of this first half of the month, that passion for what you're moving towards, the changes you're implementing, start to come back. And you're like, you know what, I'm taking my sweet ass time once again, but the passion again starts to come back. And you're doing a lot better of a job of putting aside people's opinions and their voices and the stress they add to the situation or your choices. And you're like, I got this. I'm Aquarius. Temperance. You're going to be reminded by Spirit and the universe to have an immense amount of patience in yourself and other people energies, especially making your way from the end of the first half to the beginning of the second half, and having to sort of cope and deal with energies and people. Same thing, right? Some of you spiritual energies being aligned with the High Priestess, finding that your spiritual connections really heightened to begin the second half. Certain situations could get the best of you if you don't have a lot of patience, but again, it's almost like you don't need the constant reminders from Spirit and the universe to have patience, because the pace of things is making it easier to do so. Spirit's saying that some Aquariuses, oh, they do. You need the reminder, and it's helping you. let it go, let it flow. I need for you to remember that things are kind of happening at the pace they're meant to, right? I mean, again, you find at the beginning of the first half and the beginning of the second half, it's really easy to overthink the past, your past choices, you know, as you make your way to finish up the first half and you're making certain decisions and choices about your future, which are exciting to a certain extent. It's easy for you to begin the second half of the month overthinking your past choices, right? And certain dreams that you have, for some of you, vivid, might spark some overthinking in general. Let it go. Let it flow. Let yourself just be at ease with what happened, what unraveled, and what didn't. And remember that things are meant to happen the way they're meant to happen. Everything happens for a reason. You might find that your guides are communicating that with you side by side with overwhelming message to have patience. Feeling as if your fiery side and your sort of emotional side are intertwined in a beautiful way at this point in the month. Being reminded as well to implement new strategies to foresee balance in your situation. Again, for whatever reason, you might find yourself experiencing things at night, whether it's you're forcing yourself to stay up late at night to accomplish work, or you just overthinking so you can't sleep, but a lot is taking place at night. You might be fascinated by the moon, the stars, astrology. King of Swords. Interestingly enough, you might find yourself become ultra serious at the beginning of the second half of the month, but as well as you make your way to the middle of the second half. But I did feel a sort of release in the tension in my body towards this part of the month as I picked this card up. And I think it has a lot to do with certain reminders, confirmations coming from Spirit in the universe, but also certain strategies, routines you're implementing with the push of Spirit in the universe to make things a little bit less tense for you. Feeling like at times the tension does come back, but being pushed to realize that we hold tension in odd places in our body, you know, like in our shoulders when we're clenched, tongue to the roof of our mouth and stuff like that. Feeling like at times it doesn't really affect the speed of your thinking or the way, or it doesn't make you feel rushed. You just kind of tense up. So it might even slow you down more so. Being aligned with the Knight of Wands, you find as if you're overly serious, but you're passionate. Your knowledge is coming in handy in small, interesting ways, creative ways. You know, when it comes to projects you're working on, you might see a lot of orbs. Allowing yourself to feel ultra confident at this point, and again, the fact that you're not overreacting or even reacting to people in situations that may have got the best of you in the past. Allowing yourself to feel good about where you're at this point, even if you're not making as much progress as you had hoped at this point. You know what I mean? Whether it's with a project, a business, certain purchases you're looking to make. But again, thinking back and remembering that you, for some of you, are making those purchases that we were speaking upon, whether it's a car, a new home, or getting a new apartment, new residence in general. You could just be purchasing new items in general, feeling a bit materialistic and okay with it, right? Where in the past you might have felt a bit guilty, but beware once again not to overthink past purchases. Treat yourself. You deserve it. You work hard. Life has not been super simple for you these days, especially as you're changing and growing and becoming more spiritual. And you're trying to kind of cope and deal with a lot of emotions and people and situations. So if it helps you lighten up, which it probably won't, then do it. But I feel like treat yourself either way. Escape it. Escape certain energies in situations that could make you feel tense again, or make you overwhelmed, or push you over the edge. Yeah, I feel like to say they're not going anywhere, these people and situations, so you can temporarily escape them, excuse me. As we finish up the month in the spread, we have the Queen of Cups. Ooh, you need to take a deep breath as your emotions will be running truly high to finish up the month of August, finding that you're just trying to wrap things up. And again, people and situations are making it 10 times more difficult than it needs to be. And it's like you're still kind of taking your sweet time and moving at an appropriate pace, but it's like the emotions kind of slow you down to an extent again, even more so. Just kind of like you might find your thoughts just stop. Spirit saying that you might have Leo in your chart or in your situation. You might find that you can't think to a certain extent because of your emotions, or your guides are stopping your thought process because you're getting too emotional because of what you're thinking. You might feel like your temperature is just really hot one second, really cold the next, and Spirit's saying you're getting anxiety or you're just stressed out in general. Anxiety comes in several different forms. Trust your intuition about where you're heading, about what you're accomplishing, about where you would like to be at this point in your life. It's not necessarily where other people want you to be, it's where you want to be, right? And that's what weighs heavy on your heart, on your soul, but you'll get there. You're thinking a lot to finish up the month about your goals, the completion of which, and how far you're actually from the completion of those. A lot of you wanting to change something up completely. You'll get there. Being aligned with the Knight of Cups, I mean, it's a lot of cups, you know? Feeling as if you are just in a bit of an emotional whirlwind to finish up the month, and you'll find certain people in your life as well are kind of the same way. You might feel there's an ending coming to be, certain completions taking place to wrap up the month of August, and that in itself leaves emotions just running so damn high. And it's like, well, how do we cope with all of which, right? You feeling sort of regal and kind of confident all the meanwhile, and you're like, I kind of feel guilty feeling this way for whatever reason. But Spirit's saying you deserve it. You deserve to feel confident and like yourself. People will notice you in a different light, and you're just like, I actually don't know if this is a good time for you to kind of be looking at me. I'm feeling quite emotional. All the meanwhile, you're like, I still feel motivated to make changes and adjustments when necessary as you make your way into September. But I'm feeling quite emotional once again, but very inclined to take my sweet time. All right, Aquarius, I hope this reading was truly helpful. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention I'm taking requests for personal readings, so just go on down below and shoot me an email for that. I'm wishing you nothing but the best. Hoping you have an amazing month. Sending you love and light at this time, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Aquarius.